Night swim. There's spooky ghosts in the pool swim. I'm here to talk about Night Swim. It is 2024, the first movie of the year. It's a Blumhouse joint. Great way to start. So I have my notes, the good, the bad, the silly. I have a question in here for you guys. First, let's start with the story. Spoiler warning going up right here because I'm going to talk about the story and I might spoil some things once I get into the good, the bad, and the silly, okay? We have the patriarch of the family, Ray Waller, who's played by Wyatt Russell. And he is an ex-baseball player who is currently going through a diagnosis of MS, okay? So he can no longer play baseball, and he's just going through a lot of stuff. And he really wants to recoup, and maybe come back to the game that he loves and misses. So the family is finally a family unit for once, because this is a player who gets traded around quite a bit, and they haven't really been able to lay down any roots and be a family. So the mother, who is played by Kerry Condon, her name is Eve Waller. So they go to a couple of houses and they come across one that happens to have a pool. Now their doctor later says, hey, maybe you should get into more aquatic exercises. That will really help with your recovery. And so because this house has a pool, they decide to buy that house. Now the thing is with the pool is no one knows that the pool is not just your every ordinary pool. It is haunted, and the ghosts that are within this pool want souls in return of wishes. So that is the general gist of the story. Now, let's jump into the good of this movie. And to be perfectly honest with you, I thought there was some good elements in this film. However, it doesn't warrant you to go and see the film in the theater. So here we go, okay? The first thing I have in here is I really thought the concept of the spooky pool was a good idea, okay? It reminded me of something from maybe a Twilight Zone episode, and I like the rules of the pool that are presented to us because the pool itself is a wishing well, so to speak. And what it wants is whoever is in the pool, as it's explained to us, and it's a little confusing, the rules. If they have a wish that they want, then the wish will be granted, but in return, you have to sacrifice a soul. It doesn't actually have to be anyone of any importance, I think, but in this instance, the soul is the young son, Elliot Waller, played by Gavin Warren. So that is the general gist and concept of this movie, and I really like the rules. And but the rules are a little muddy, and I will talk about that in the silly section, because it's how do these rules work in the grander scheme of things? But I actually appreciated the concept of this movie. I think there's one extra thing I'd like to add to this concept that I wish it could have really pushed it, There is a good idea here where they could have gone a different route instead of the route they went, where I think we could have had more fun if the family understood the powers of the pool, because they learn about it. Everyone in the family understands how the pool works, except for the dad, I believe. He seems to be the most aloof out of everybody. But they could have really done something cool where maybe they got greedy with the powers of the wish, and they were starting to sacrifice people. And then we could have had a totally different movie that could have been totally cooler and totally more fun. And yeah, but I digress. That's just an idea I was thinking the whole time. I'm if I had access to this pool and I knew what it could do, what would stop me from going, I would like $1 million. I'm going to kick this old bird in the pool. There's your sacrifice, dog. Thanks. Peace out. I'm a millionaire. We could have explored fun things with that. Lots of fun could have been had. But we didn't have that. So the other good I wrote in here, and it's not necessarily a good for the film itself, but I think the movie experience was a lot of fun. Now, I had a group full of young teenagers, okay, because this is a PG-13 movie, and everyone in there was definitely under 20, and there was about 30 of us, and honestly, they jumped at all the jump scares. they had like there was one dude that had an audible like yell, like he got spooked so hard. It was funny. We all had a good time, and we laughed, and like there was a lot of quips going on from the audience too. So it's a good audience experience, is what I would say. Not necessarily that makes it a great movie to go and watch. But the audience experience that I had was good, and the teenagers responded well to this movie. So if you are a fan of just jump scares only, you will enjoy this movie, okay? So the other good that I have written down here is I do believe that the director, Bryce McGuire, actually built some really good tension in this film. And I believe that is because all of us as human beings, we don't want to drown. We understand the concept of drowning. So seeing those tense moments of people drowning or like about to drown or fall into the pool and drown, it's really tense. And you kind of like, ooh, that worked. You know what I'm saying? The tension really worked. There's one scene in particular that I thought was probably the most tense scene in the movie. And that's especially if you swim, okay? I love swimming, so I swim all the time. I love it. And the one scene in particular is the coin toss scene. And if you see them, like the scene is the boy, Elliot, diving under the water to pick up coins. And as the coins are being thrown in, he's going deeper and deeper and deeper into the deep end of the pool where he's not supposed to be. And the tension is built up really, really well. And you almost feel like he's going to drown or a ghost is going to get him or something. Perfect. I enjoyed that tense scene. The rest of the movie, whatever. So another good thing this movie does, okay, is they really do a good job at setting up and paying off things, okay? So one thing in particular, actually I got three I've written down, okay? So the first one is the concept of throwing coins into the pool. They show that often, and it's a callback later to when they're explaining the pool as a wishing well. And I thought, that's smart, okay? Because you see the family throwing in coins a lot. The second thing that was cool is there's a baseball bat that Ray really cherishes. And you see him crank a home run with it, and he has it on a mantle, and it's important to him. And then later, when the daughter is fighting the possessed version of her father, Ray, the daughter's name is Izzy Waller, played by Amélie Hoeferle, and she grabs the bat and beats the crap out of him. It's a funny scene. Everybody in the audience laughed at that scene, by the way. And she just cracks him. She cracks him back to sense. Like, she cracks him so hard, the ghost leaves his body. It's humorous. Okay, and the last one for really good setup, and it's dumb. It kind of didn't need to be in the movie. It could have edited it out. But there's a scene where the glass of water falls on the ground, right? And it lingers. You see a shard of glass on the ground. And Lily is it Lily? No, sorry, Izzy. It runs around and does some stuff, gets scared by the ghost, and she runs back inside to go call the cops or something. And she slips and falls, and her hand hits the glass shard. Honestly, I gave a loud, audible when that happened. And the people around me laughed because that was not spooky, but who does that would hurt. That's what my audible was. I was like, ooh, it was a wince of pain. They got me there. So that was good. Anyways, let's get on to the bad here. All right. The bad is bad this time. No nitpicks. This movie dragged. It is an hour and 36 minutes long. And I think we could have got this down to 72 minutes tight because it just dragged. The whole movie kind of felt like we're trying to set up scenarios to get people in the pool. And it just was boring. Like, the dialogue's boring. The jokes are ho-hum. The things that we're laughing at aren't necessarily what we're supposed to be laughing at. You know what I'm saying? So that sucked. It just dragged. Like I said here, I have the forced scenarios to get people into the pool, which was just, basic stuff. Hey, I'm going for a swim. I'm going to play Marco Polo with my, potential boyfriend. We're going to have a pool party. There's things that they could have done that could have been more fun. if the story went a different way. But in this iteration of the story, it's kind of like, well, we got to get him in the pool somehow, right? Like the girl, Izzy, she joins the high school swim team. So obviously she's going to go into the pool to do laps. You know what I'm saying? Her mother, Eve, is her father was a Navy SEAL diver. So she's like, I've done Navy SEAL drills all the time. So she loves swimming, right? It's just like they had to do a lot of jumping through hoops to get people into the pool, okay? So a big bad. There is no cool deaths or on-screen kills. There's nothing horror, gory, or anything like that. Nothing cool happens. The only deaths that happen are people drowning. So if you're into that, that's what you're getting. And you don't really see a full drown chokeout in a sense. Everyone gets revived. And most of the people who do die just die off screen and you never see it ever again. So, on to the silly, okay? The rules in this world are cool, but how come it only seems to apply to this one family in this one pool? Because it is set up by one of the characters who is the pool cleaner. He mentions that the pool itself is water fed from a spring, and he's like, this is a very rare thing, but the people in this area have done it for all their pools and spas and stuff like that, have been tapped into this spring. So wouldn't all the pools and spas have ghosts and the same rules and people abusing this power maybe? Or is it just this? You know what I'm saying? So even like when they have the pool party, I was like, well, wouldn't all these people have wishes too? And wouldn't these people be kind of possessed in a sense to go and try to feed the pool a soul so it could get its wishes? Like, yeah. Oh, you know what? That's a silly too. The possession. I forgot about that. The possession element and story to this makes no sense. It's absolutely absurd because the father gets possessed by the pool of water, like it goes into his body and he becomes possessed by a ghoul. The previous homeowner that we learn all about the rules from of the pool, she is also possessed by the pool water, which makes no sense because it's like 30 years later. Why would she still be possessed? She doesn't even live there. And it's just goofy. You know what I'm saying? And finally, the final silly thing. I really thought all the monsters, like the ghouls and the effect work and the possession work, looked corny. It just looked too digital, too corny. And if there was practical, it didn't look good. I was not a fan of it at all, okay? Not a fan of it at all. And the final, the final thing, I just remembered it. Our villain, who's the dad who gets possessed, is chasing after his daughter, and he's saying Marco a lot, and my audience members were saying Polo. It was humorous, but it just sounded ridiculous seeing this ghoul possession thing going around and entering the room going Marco, and like it was funny but dumb at the same time. And finally, my question for you, because if this movie was made in the 80s to the 90s, we would have had a dope indigenous shaman character coming up around the pool saying, hey, there's something wrong here. He would have told the rules. He would have mentioned that this water comes from a sacred area and it's cursed. You know, our people don't go there anymore because it demanded too much from us. Why can't we have the cool indigenous character anymore? It felt like it, honestly, the whole time I was like watching this, I'm like, are they really beating around the bush of indigenousness? You know what I'm saying? Where they're like, oh, we can't really say that this is an indigenous burial ground, okay? But we can't even mention that the pool of water might have been cursed by indigenous people or anything like that. Like, are we beating around the bush? Are we not allowed to do that anymore in 2024? Because I was expecting a cool shaman to show up at the pool party. Like, I don't know. I was thinking Exorcist, right? Where the guy shows up. I don't know. That's what I wanted. I thought, that's my question. Can we have that come back? Anyways, that's the end of my review. As you can tell, it's not good. I gave it 1 star out of 5. And yeah, like if you want to go and see this movie and you're a teenager and you like jump scares, go ahead. You might have a good time with the crowd. I would definitely recommend you do it on the cheap night. Maybe have a date night with it. But like, it's not good. You'll get what you want out of it. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, like I'd probably say save your money and wait till you can watch it on video on demand or whatever, like or Netflix or whatever. That's probably what I would do. And would I ever own this movie? It would be an accidental ownership because like maybe if I picked it up in a Facebook Marketplace bundle, that's the only way I'd ever own this movie, and then I'd probably trade it out because it's just I would never watch it again, honestly. So yeah, that's the end of that review. So the next movie I'll be reviewing after this will probably be Aquaman 2 and The Beekeeper when that comes out in a week or so. So on that note, I'm out of here. Whatever movie you guys are watching, I hope you're loving them and digging them. Peace out, everyone. Bye.